Hi, I'm FIDE Master Livy Cherbulenko, and in this series I explore the typical mistakes of people rated anywhere between 8,000 and 2,000. This is a first reaction, no engine analysis of a chess.com gameplay between 8,032 versus 8,060. Let's start. Alright, so e4, c6, black plays the Caro-Kann defense. Knight f3, well, the main move is usually d4, right? And then black goes d5. But let's say knight f3, d5, e5. Usually what happens is d4, and after d5 I can play e5. This is called the advanced or the close variation. And let's say after bishop f5 I can just play knight f3, and basically it can just transpose. But let's see, knight f3, d5, e5. The difference here is that because white did not play d4, black could play here, for example, c5, and then knight c6, bishop f5, or bishop g4, pinning this knight. So that is the problem with knight f3, is that white did not play d4 first. But let's see, so black played d4. So basically we have a similar idea, not to allow white to push d4. The downside though is that it allows bishop c4, pressuring f7. Gives white great development. Next white can castle short, maybe like knight g5 ideas, and it's a great diagonal for the bishop. That's why I think it's better to play c5. This way, we both prevent d4, but also prevent bishop to c4. So I think d4 is a bit inaccurate. c3, okay, I guess white wanna get rid of a pawn, and after bc play d4 and occupy the center, but I think bishop c4 would have been good as well. And now like black has to be careful. If they play e6 when the bishop is stupid, they just block the bishop. But if they play a move like, let's say, bishop g4 pinning the knight, then white can just play like bishop f7 check, king f7, knight g5 check, king moves somewhere, and then queen takes g4, and white is up a pawn and completely winning. So that is a problem with d4. But let's see, so c3, again, I think I like bishop c4 more. Not so easy to defend this pawn, and not so clear way to where to put this bishop. But let's see, c3, c5, yeah, I guess if takes, then I can even take with a b pawn, and next play like d4, bishop d3, or bishop c4, castle, and white would have a very nice pawn center. But okay, let's see, so c5, black wants to keep the pawn on d4, takes. Now this pawn is kind of weak. White has ideas like queen a4 check, attack this pawn, right? So the pawn looks quite shaky. But let's see, queen a4 check, knight c6, makes sense. What is this? Wait a bit. Oh my god. Yeah, knight d4 obviously is a completely losing move. I mean, white could have played like, I don't know, maybe bishop b5, right? Pin the knight. And after a move like bishop d7, I don't think bishop c6 is that great, because then black just takes. Let's say takes. Black would just like take, and play like bishop g2, and black should be fine. But I was thinking here about maybe like a move like maybe like e6, I was thinking, And then if they take with a bishop, I mean, I can even go like knight d4. We cannot take with a queen, because when they just take and the knight's pinned. There's also bishop takes c6, of course, right? And then take on d4, or bishop takes c6, and after bc, queen takes c6 check, or simply knight d4, maybe the easiest. And if we play fe, the point is that we have destroyed black's pawn structure a little bit, and now maybe we could just, I don't know, maybe like just castle or something, and then we have compensation, because black has these weak pawns. The bishop on f8 doesn't move, the knight's passive, rook's passive, king is in the center, bad pawn structure, d4 is weak, e6 is weak. Next we can play like rook e1, maybe d3, activate this knight somewhere, right? Maybe knight g5, pressure on e6. So white definitely has some interesting compensation here. Black's king is pretty weak, and we've hindered black's normal development, especially this f8 bishop has no moves. So yeah, I think, but I mean, queen a4, I don't think, is the best, unless white, implements this idea that I showed you with like e6. Otherwise, probably queen a4 is not the best, because you put the queen in the corner. Usually in the opening, the queen is the last piece you want to develop. Maybe a more normal approach would be something like, I don't know, bishop c4, like I said previously, right? And then castle, perhaps put the rook on e1 to support our key pawn, then play d3, open up this bishop, maybe develop this knight somewhere, maybe like on e4, This knight might potentially go to g5, attack f7. The bishop on c4 is brilliant. It's not clear where black puts his bishop. Yeah, this looks like advantage for white. So I think bishop c4 is probably the best move. Plus, there's also ideas like e6 and destroying black. Let's say they make some whatever move, and then we play like e6 potentially, you know, and takes, and now black has this bad pawn structure. King's in the center, and the bishop on f8 cannot move. So there's that as well. So yeah, queen a4 probably not the best. We want to avoid moving the queen in the opening, especially through the corner. All right, but let's see. Knight takes d4, yeah, a huge blunder, of course. Queen takes d4, yeah, now white is simply down a piece. Oh, f4, oh my god. Completely missing knight c2. Obviously should have prevented that. But of course white is completely lost, whatever we do. But yeah, should have played like king d1 or knight a3, right, to prevent knight c2. So f4, of course, is a huge blunder. Knight c2 check, of course, double attack. Knight takes a1, check. Bishop d7, takes. Now black is up material, so it's favorable for him to exchange pieces, to simplify the game. When you're better positionally, or when you're better materially, right? When you have a material advantage, you want to simplify. And when you're worse, you know, positionally or materially, you want to complicate, all right? b3, I guess, was trying to win the knight. But black can play like knight c2. Knight c2, bishop b2, e6 activating the bishop. Knight c3, bishop b4 attacking the knight. Rook c1 attacking the c2 knight. Takes. Black simply, you know, just exchanges and simplifies. Knight a3, bishop b4 attacking the knight. Knight b5. So black is up what? A rook and a knight? Completely winning. Yeah, I mean, yeah, once the knight comes to d5, the knight is just super centralized, controls all these key squares, so that white has zero counterplay here. Alright, b4. Yeah, white is just completely lost g. Oh my god. Completely missing knight d3. Yeah, this is crazy. Knight takes on, and white resign. Yeah, pretty horrible game by white, missing a lot of material, not applying prophylactic thinking, and yeah, white is completely lost. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the game, and I will see you in the next video.